And what we're doing today is, you reached out to us it's been on almost 5 months, I think,
sir.
past
Yes,
5 months since your father, Steve Ray Locklear, passed away.
Yes, sir.
And, was murdered. And tell me about the current situation.
Well, starting off, I hadn't seen my dad in a year, and I hadn't heard from him. And I had been reaching through this guy named TT, was supposed to be my dad's roommate, and his phone number had been changed and everything, and I couldn't make contact with my father, and I don't have transportation, but I made my contact through my dad, was through his roommates. And then all of a sudden one day I just called and the number had been changed, blocked, nothing wouldn't go through. So I was getting kind of worried. So, I went to call the police and put down a missing report on my father. Nothing shows up, nobody knew anything, and it's mighty funny and weird because my dad was standing in front of Walmart, and that's how he would, with his hustles and how he would eat day for day and everything. So everybody knew my dad, even police officers knew my dad.
And you mentioned, I think, he played the guitar, is that right?
My dad's roommate, they called him TT. He stood out and played that guitar. So everybody that knew Timothy, knew TT, they knew my dad Steve, because they was always together. They did everything together. And I'm just wanting some answers here because I feel left out, and me and my sisters, my brother, my children, my dad's grandchildren, his mom, my cousins, his nieces. We want answers here. We feel lost. Nobody's trying to help us. My dad meant something. He meant something to us. Whether they think he did or not, my dad had family. We couldn't make him do what what we wanted him to do. He was 58 years old. But my dad had family, and I want to come to some kind of closure, and I want to get my dad justice here. I feel like justice should be served. And my dad's life is gone, not due to his health problems, not due to his cancer, because somebody took his life. Not only 3 times, but they shot my father 5 times. So they meant to kill my dad. And I want answers. Why? Why did you do it? Why? That's the main answer here, is why did you do it? That's all I want to know. And I want to face my dad's killer and ask him, why? He was a helpless, sick old man. Why? He would have gave you the shirt off his back. What was the purpose? What was the point that you was trying to make by shooting a man that could hardly walk, that was sick with cancer, and you shot him 5 times?
As I was saying, like we were just saying, he was on disability at the
Yes,
time.
my dad received disability all his life. My dad had liver cancer. My dad had cirrhosis of the liver. My dad could barely walk. He was hit by a car in Rockingham in October the 12th of 2012. My dad was in Chapel Hill for 2 months. He had rods and stents in his legs. My daddy you could tap him and push him down. They didn't have to shoot him.
And you were saying the shooting took place, where was that?
It happened December the 29th of 2023 at 2 a.m. on Spring Street in East Rockingham. And there's people all around this area, from what I'm told, that where my dad got shot at. How could nobody see this? How could nobody hear this? Someone, whoever the one that made the call, they seen what happened. They know what happened. I'm not asking you, I can understand that you don't want to get involved, but you don't even got to go in or be seen talking to the detectives or the police. You can make an anonymous call, a tip line.
I was about to say the Crime Stoppers.
Yes,
right?
the Crime Stoppers, just to help solve my daddy's murder.
And
don't let it get away, because if they can get away with this, then they're going to try to do it again. And the next time it might be your loved one. It might be your family.
And do you remember what your father was wearing that night? Or
no, sir. From what I'm told, I can't even get my dad's belongings. I can't get my dad's family pictures of us when we was little. We can't get his clothes. We cannot get his shoes. We cannot get none of his belongings that was in this camper with him and this guy TT. They vanished off the planet Earth. And my dad's stuff is nowhere. It's just disappeared after 10 years that he's been living in East Rockingham in Richmond County.
And now you're saying, now the shooting took place on Spring Street. Now, but where was
the detective said when they got on the call, he was in the road range, the middle of the road range. That's not Spring Street. The middle of the road range is the highway. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm just wanting some answers here. Anybody that can get this video, anybody that knows my dad in East Rockingham, Stevie Ray Locklear, somebody, call Crime Stoppers. Somebody call the detectives. Somebody leave a tip just to please help solve my daddy's murder so we can get him justice, so we can have peace, and so my daddy can have peace. Please, I'm not asking you to go out your standards. I'm not asking you to do anything. But if it can happen to us and my father, it can happen to you too.
Absolutely. And
so it's best to get him off the street, whoever they is, whoever he is. He's walking free. There is a murderer walking around free after 5 months. My dad got killed December the 29th of 2023, and it's finna be May. Somebody please help me, please.
And I was about to say, you're just doing this for closure, you know? I mean, kind of restless nights like this, I mean...
Sir, I had to look into my dad's vase. My dad was cremated because my dad didn't have insurance. And I had to come about it the best way that I could. And I had to talk to my dad through a vase. Y'all wouldn't understand or know how that feels if you had never been through it. So at this point in time is, if you got to talk to your dad in a vase and I can't talk to him and have closure with him, then somebody needs to come forward and they need to help. Because if they got away with this with my father, then who's the next victim?
Mm-hmm. I mean, this might have just kind of, well, not this right now, but, you know, just the fact that you can do it once.
Yes.
Doing it again is going to be a lot easier, you know.
And then for my dad's his shooting or the incident that happened, then none of that's in the newspaper. There's none of that on the paper. That you can't find it nowhere. It's not even local. It's nowhere. It's like it's a hidden story. Like they swept it up under the rug. Just like what me and my cousin was talking about before I got home. If somebody knows something, somebody in the area that knows Steve Locklear and that's been friends with him for 10 years down there, they just vanished. His roommates vanished. They disappeared. But if you was his friends, you would help.
Yeah.
And I just need your help, please.